Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we're diving deep into the SCP Foundation universe to uncover the top 10 new horrifying SCPs that will make you question reality, humanity, and probably your sleep schedule. These aren't the classic legends like SCP-173 or 096. These are recent, terrifying, creative nightmares that remind us why the SCP Foundation needs so many containment chambers and so much therapy. We'll look at where they came from, what they look like, what they can do, and why they're on the Foundation's Please Don't Touch list. Buckle up, turn on the lights, and let's jump in. SCP-8980 is based on the fear of work. On paper, that sounds funny. In the SCP universe, nothing stays funny. This anomaly shows up as a strange influence that spreads through workplaces, offices, and environments where tasks need to be done. The origin is linked to abandoned corporate buildings and failed companies where workers suddenly vanished or stopped functioning. It isn't a creature with teeth or claws. It is something that attacks the mind. People affected by SCP-8980 lose all ability to work or even think about completing a task. Their motivation drains away and their body begins shutting down. The more a person tries to fight it, the quicker they mentally collapse. In advanced cases, victims lose basic function, sitting frozen like broken mannequins. Some eventually die of dehydration because they cannot even make themselves drink water. Its danger is massive on a social scale. A full outbreak can wipe out productivity in an entire city. No doctors, no police, no food workers, no water system, and no emergency response. People just mentally clock out forever. The scariest part is that SCP-8980 spreads through communication. Reading reminders, instructions, or even hearing someone give an order can trigger the effect. The Foundation keeps it locked away behind heavy memetic filters and hopes no one slips up. SCP-8876. Anthropophobia, killing flu. Anthropophobia is fear of people, and SCP-8876 takes that fear and turns it into terror. This SCP appears as a mist-like organism made of black, floating particles. It came from a mysterious meteorite impact in a rural area. At first, it just looked like weird fog. Then people started dying. Anyone exposed to it starts developing extreme fear of human contact. They scream, hide, or try to escape from others, even family members. The paranoia gets so strong that victims harm themselves rather than let anyone near them. Eventually, the particle cloud absorbs them, leaving nothing but a smear of black sludge behind. The mist grows every time it takes a victim. If left alone, it could swallow a whole town. This makes SCP-88761 one of the most terrifying invisible enemies, because you never see it until it is too late. The Foundation keeps it inside a vacuum-sealed chamber, constantly filtered and frozen. If the temperature rises or the pressure changes, it starts moving again. Basically, it behaves like fog with a bad temper and a craving for humans. SCP-6670, Mama. This SCP began from sightings of a strange child wandering abandoned locations. People reported hearing a young voice calling out for Mama, always sounding sad, confused, and lonely. Researchers followed the voice and discovered SCP-6670, a creature shaped like a small child, but its face has no mouth, no nose, and eyes stretched too wide. Whenever a person responds to the voice or tries to comfort the child, SCP-6670 latches onto them emotionally. It follows them everywhere, crying, begging, and calling them Mama, even if the person never had children. After attachment, the creature begins draining life energy from its new caretaker. The more affection the person shows, the faster they wither away. The worst part is how it manipulates empathy. The victim starts hearing the crying even when the creature isn't in the room. They lose sleep and become obsessed with comforting it. Eventually, they collapse. And SCP-6670 crawls off to find a new Mama. It is classified as Cater due to its emotional manipulation and ability to escape confinement. Containment teams now use ear protection and avoid eye contact. The rule is simple. Don't talk to the crying child, no matter how real the voice sounds. SCP-3199, Humans. This one is infamous. SCP-3199 looks like a tall, pale humanoid creature with bird-like legs, a hairless body, black eyes, and a face stuck in silent screaming. The origin traces to a strange genetic experiment that combined human and chicken DNA. That is already disturbing, but things become worse when we learn how it reproduces. SCP-3199 lays eggs, a lot of eggs. and every egg hatches into another SCP-3199 that immediately starts running at extremely high speed. The Foundation once killed all known specimens, only to return months later and discover more eggs had appeared from nowhere. The creatures grow fast, are shockingly strong, and survive almost any injury. They are violent and will attack anything that moves. This SCP's destruction level is massive if ignored. A single escaped specimen can fill an environment with thousands of eggs in days. The Foundation now keeps them in sealed steel drums filled with acid to stop reproduction. Staff assigned to SCP-3199 do not enjoy their job. SCP-8066. Phobophobia. The only thing to fear. Phobophobia means fear of fear, and SCP-8066 is a living nightmare that senses what someone is scared of and then becomes that thing. One moment it looks like a harmless shadow, and the next it transforms into whatever the victim fears most. Spiders, clowns, drowning water, giant insects, or even specific traumatic memories. Its origin is tied to a strange psychic disturbance, possibly caused by a failed Foundation experiment. Victims trapped inside SCP-8066's field experience hallucinations so vivid that their bodies react physically. Someone afraid of falling might break bones because their nervous system believes it is happening. The creature feeds on terror. The more the victim panics, the stronger SCP-8066 becomes. In some cases, it has recreated lost loved ones, only to twist them into grotesque, broken forms. This is emotional horror turned into a weapon. Containment uses heavily sedated personnel because fear is the trigger. Technicians enter with no visible emotion and strict breathing routines. Even a little anxiety can wake the creature and start the nightmare. SCP-882 Alethophobia, headcanon by multiple authors. SCP-8822 deals with fear of truth. It appears as a set of ever-changing manuscripts, journals, and written stories created by multiple unknown authors. Whenever someone reads one of its pages, reality around them bends to match the writing. If a sentence says the room is full of spiders, spiders appear. If the story says the reader dies, their body begins to shut down. Investigators believe the texts were created by a group of reality-bending writers who wanted to rewrite existence. Every reader accidentally becomes a co-author. Their thoughts slip into the pages update, and reality follows. That makes this SCP extremely dangerous because anyone who panics while reading can unleash chaos. To contain it, the Foundation keeps all pages in sealed rooms with no physical copies. Reading is only allowed through controlled digital screens with emergency shutdown. Even then, researchers report headaches, memory loss, and nightmares where words rewrite their body. It is pure horror for anyone who fears losing control of reality. SCP-8558, Hedonophobia, carnal rotting. Hedonophobia means fear of pleasure. SCP-8558 is a monstrous effect that targets people experiencing joy. It came from a ritual discovered in a destroyed temple. The event unleashed a living infection that activates when someone feels pleasure, laughter, food, music, anything. When joy rises, the body begins rotting from the inside. Skin breaks apart, muscles tear, bones weaken, and the victim becomes a decomposing husk while still alive. The more happiness, the faster the decay. Some victims realized what was happening and tried to stay sad or emotionless, but even small moments like hearing a joke set the process off again. This SCP could wipe out a population because humans naturally feel joy. Parties, weddings, celebrations, even watching a comedy movie could kill entire crowds. The Foundation keeps samples stored inside frozen vaults. Researchers handled it while wearing emotion-suppressing drugs. Imagine a lab full of miserable scientists. Well, at least nobody's laughing themselves to death. SCP-7115, American meat. Looks like a pile of living, breathing meat shaped like cows, pigs, chickens, and sometimes something that doesn't match any known animal. It first appeared on a factory farm in the United States where animals looked normal but behaved strangely. Workers noticed the livestock didn't have bones, organs, or proper anatomy. They were lumps of flesh pretending to be animals. These meat creatures communicate with wet, slapping sounds. They move like puppets pulled by invisible strings. When threatened, they merge into giant flesh masses that roll across the ground, crushing everything. The horrifying part is that they regenerate. Every piece of meat can grow a new creature. If someone tried to destroy SCP-7115 by cutting it apart, the pieces would crawl away and grow into more. The Foundation has entire freezers dedicated to keeping these meat creatures cold and motionless. Staff jokes that this is the worst barbecue supply on Earth, and nobody wants a bite. SCP-8986, Automatonophobia, false positive. Automatonophobia is fear of mannequins, statues, dolls, and human-like shapes. SCP-8986 started in a mall that suddenly closed after customers vanished. Inside, investigators discovered hundreds of mannequins standing in strange positions. Security cameras recorded the mannequins moving whenever no one watched. SCP-8986. Mannequins look normal at first. Some wear clothes, some have plastic smiles, some stare blankly. Once a human enters the area, they slowly reposition, surrounding the person. They do not breathe, but footsteps echo across the tiles. When the victim looks away, the mannequins rush closer. Many disappear without a trace. The Foundation learned they move through blind spots. Cameras freeze, lights flicker, and mannequins teleport short distances until they reach their target. At the final moment, the victim's body becomes another mannequin. Their eyes turn glassy, their limbs stiffen, and then they stand still forever, part of the collection. These SCPs are kept in an underground chamber with constant lighting and thousands of cameras. Maintenance workers refuse to go near them. Can't blame them. Nobody wants to blink and suddenly be part of the display. SCP-8134, classified. This entry is almost fully redacted. The files only show pieces of information, and even those are terrifying. SCP-8134 seems to be something that the Foundation can barely describe. The origin is hidden, and every attempt to write a description ends in corrupted text, missing audio, or researchers going insane. What little is known indicates that SCP-8134 is a cognitive and physical threat. Anyone who learns too much starts changing mentally, seeing shapes that nobody else can see. Some disappear from their rooms without opening a door. Others leave messages scratched into walls that say, "It is coming in from the space behind your thoughts." There are rumors that SCP-8134 is not a creature, but a doorway to something worse. Containment procedures are restricted to Level 5 personnel, and all staff exposed to its information receive amnestics. The Foundation refuses to publish even basic data. If they are scared to write it down, the rest of us probably don't want to know.